Every time I hear that song that we used to call our own, it all comes back again. I don't understand it, somehow I didn't see. It took me far too long to realize.
Welcome back to Up and Down the Aisles, because retail is detail. Today, we're popping open a new conversation, one that's sweet, but not too sweet. We're talking about sugar taxes, drink reformulations, and one big question: what way does Gen Z really drinking these days? For decades, soda ruled the world. Sugar was king, and marketing made it sparkle. Commercials told us happiness came in a can. But something happened. Doctors began ringing alarm bells about obesity and diabetes. Government started taking note. And then came the tax. Cities across the U.S. began implementing what's called a sugar-sweetened beverage tax, a fee added to every ounce of sugary soda sold. It was simple economics. Make it more expensive. People buy less. And it worked. Research shows a 10% tax often leads to about 10% drop in sugary drink purchases. In some cities, that drop hit 33%, nearly 1/3 less soda sold after prices went up. Now, think of that for a second. One small policy shifting billions in consumer habits. The industry's response? Reformulate. Major beverage companies began quietly reducing sugar, tweaking recipes, or creating zero-sugar versions. Today, about 70% of sugar-sweetened beverages still have 25 grams or more of sugar per serving. But that number is slowly shrinking. Why? Because taxes and consumer awareness have made sugar the new villain. Consumers now read labels. They want fewer calories, fewer chemicals, fewer guilt trips. Enter Generation Z. They're not drinking like their parents, literally. 1 in 5 Gen Z adults say they don't drink alcohol at all, and nearly 40% drink only occasionally. They're looking for beverages that say balance, not buzz. Drinks that taste like a good time without the hangover or the sugar crash. So what are they reaching for? Non-alcoholic beers, adaptogenic teas, functional waters that promise calm, focus, or energy. The beverage aisle isn't about what's cold. It's about what's conscious. Retailers, pay attention. This is more than a fad. It's a cultural pivot. Zero sugar and non-alc are no longer niche. They're mainstream. They sit at the intersection of health, mindfulness, and economics. Here's the retail math. If sugary beverages are taxed 33% higher and consumers buy 33% less, that's shelf space waiting to be repurposed. Think hydration with purpose. Think mood-boosting teas, collagen waters, sparkling adaptogen drinks. The retailer's job now is to curate, not just stock. Create mindful drink end caps. Offer non-alc tastings. Educate consumers about sugar grams the same way we talk about calories. Let's break it down. 63% of U.S. adults still drink a sugary beverage daily. A 10% sugar tax equals sign about a 10% drop in consumption. In some U.S. cities, sugary drink sales fell by a full 33% after tax implementation. Non-alcoholic beverage sales, growing at roughly 18% annually. Millennials and Gen Z now make up over 60% of non-alc beer drinkers. That's not just a shift in taste, that's a shift in identity. All right, shoppers, here's this week's Up and Down the Aisles tip. 5 tips to sip smart. Tip 1. Read the label. You'll be surprised how many drinks still hide 25 grams of sugar in a single can. Tip 2. Know your tax. If your city has a sugar tax, don't just pay it. Pivot. Switch to zero sugar or natural alternatives and save. Tip 3. Try one swap a day. Replace one sugary or alcoholic drink with something mindful. Kombucha, sparkling water, or a zero-proof cocktail. Tip 4. Make it intentional. Ask yourself, what do I want from this drink? Energy? Calm? Hydration? Let that guide you, not the label. Tip 5. Track your week. Keep a short tally, sugary, alcoholic, and mindful choices. Then set one small goal: less sugar, more balance. The aisle is more than a place to grab a drink. It's a reflection of how we live, feel, and grow. Sugar taxes aren't just numbers. They're a mirror, showing us our habits. Gen Z isn't rejecting fun. They're redefining it. And retailers, you're the curators of this new taste culture. Because in the end, it's not just what's on the shelf. It's what's in the mindset of the shopper walking down the
That's a
aisle.
wrap for this episode of Up and Down the Aisles. I hope you enjoyed. Also like to bring to your attention, there is a sister channel that was spun off a couple of weeks ago called The Aisles Report. The Aisles Report is more focused on day-to-day news, breaking news, and the lead reporter for that is Damon. Damon is doing a fantastic job over there. Also, we're working feverishly to add more platforms to The Aisles Report and eventually for Up and Down Media. Currently, it's streaming on Spotify and Apple. And until next time, we'll see you in them aisles.